his children. Reach for the top, regardless of situations, predicaments, or your conditions. He's making history, all of the districts, increasing retention from teachers, 50 to 80%. That ain't all that you hear me. He is the mentor. He paved the way with his tip methodology, really. Dream, be persistent, face fears, seek change, go out and go get it. This what you learning with Dr. Joe Griffin. With Dr. Joe Griffin, yeah. He says recognize trauma, push past the pain. If you got a problem, go look at his frame. Work your perspective and look at it change. Find a goal, set it in critical thing. Manage time, self-awareness. These are the few of the things he's trying to get you to do every day. Do every day. Led 5 schools to increase test scores with his teacher principal collaboration. Things he gives to you will have you take your drive to the next level. But first, you need to get some fuel at gas station. Supporting education leaders, creating a culture for kids that'll last for ages. Lack of access to quality professional development, that's outrageous. Got his doctorate in education. Leadership, research, make changes. Need to put the kids first and raise them. Need to teach them they worth, stop playing. Later on, they gon' run this nation. Dr. Joe with his dissertation. Talk to those who would fix, make changes. I introduce you to Dr. Joe Griffin, a speaker, consultant, and author's intentions. The teaching and talk is to broaden their vision. The things they weren't taught when they brought up his children. Reach for the top, regardless of situations, predicaments, or your conditions. He's making history, all of the districts, increasing retention from teachers, 50 to 80%. They ain't all that you hear me. He is the mentor. He paved the way with his dip methodology, really. Dream, be persistent, face fears, seek change, go out and go get it. This what you learning with Dr. Joe Griffin. With Dr. Joe Griffin.
Great day, leaders. Great day. Great day. Week 72. Volume 2, number 30. How do you do? Let's go. Yes, indeed. It's a pleasure, as always, to be here with you one more time. So I'm thankful for the opportunity. Definitely go ahead, start sharing out, liking, loving it. We definitely need the algorithms to go in our favor. And guess what? We appreciate you because we keep bringing the information for you. Let's go, educators. Definitely a great day. And as always, you all, I like to start out with a prelude. I'm going to get to that in just a moment. And first, I just want to talk about what a great week I had at the ASA Conference, American Association of Superintendents and Administrators in Nashville. What a great conference that they put on. I was happy to be in attendance for a couple of days. I had to leave early because I had a big professional development in Memphis, Tennessee. I've been telling you all a little bit about it. Told you I was going to set them on fire. And yes, indeed, we definitely set them on fire. So big thanks to Dr. LaWanda Clark and the West Side Middle School team. It was powerful information that we traded. We collaborated. We get set for the stretch run. You know, I've been talking to a lot of my schools about the stretch run. My other school as well. We had a powerful leadership team meeting in which we are recalibrating for this stretch run. So any leaders, teachers, educators who are out there calibrating for this stretch run, this is where you need to be every single time. You definitely need to shout us out, reach out if you need anything whatsoever as you go down the stretch run into the summer as well as into the fall, because you always got to be thinking 2-3 years ahead. I remind you that all the time in everything we do. We got to stay futuristic with an optimistic mind flow. Yes, indeed. You got to love it. Yes, indeed. And that's a lot of the cleanup, a lot of the welcome information. Sign in, let us know where you're streaming in from. Please do that also, in addition to liking and sharing the post, because we coming with the fire today. You know, we coming with the fire today. Let's go. Let's see what we got there. Good afternoon, Coach Dr. Makita Jiva. Definitely appreciate everything you do for the platforms. Appreciate you, Coach. Definitely appreciate you. Good to see you in Calumet City. I actually be out in Chicago. April 17, I got a professional development out there. It was going to be March 2nd, but you know how some of those things end up changing. So the superintendent wants to do it April 17th. Maybe we'll link up before then and I'll get you an invite or something if you're able. But definitely appreciate you, Coach Dot. Appreciate you. You all, it's Black History Month. Of course, I believe in excellence all the time. That's why we don't overemphasize it. But I want to start out with a little prelude. And quote from Dr. Amos Wilson, originally from Hattiesburg, Mississippi, went to New York, was a professor at New York University, and just a powerful speaker, powerful voice. And one of his famous quotes was, "I would rather lose in a cause that will someday win than win in a cause that will someday lose." We'll let that sink in for a minute. And then I asked the sub question, what doors are we opening right now? Say boom. What doors are we opening right now? I would rather lose in a cause that will someday win. That means we're on this battlefield, y'all. That means we are in the thick of things. We're working toward our goals every day. We knowing that it's going to win because you putting in that grind. If you put in that grind, yeah, it's going to turn over. Then win in a cause that will someday lose. That's short term. So we got to get out of that short term thinking. We got to think long term in those things that we're doing, all about different endeavors. And, I like to always start with that prelude and talk a little bit because we carry heavy loads. Everyone carries a heavy load, but it's harder when you're trying to do it alone. It's not necessarily the weight of the things that we are in, whether it's school, whether it's work at your job, whether it doesn't have to be an educational job here because we're in our prelude, but in any type of organization, your community, your family, it's not the weight, it's the isolation because you feel like you're doing it all alone. And when you're doing it all alone, that pressure, that stress, it tends to build up. But when you got people that you're collaborating with, people that you can depend on, that you're in the thick of the battle with, people rarely walk away during times of need when you got that type of collaboration and information going on. They walk away from environments where they feel unsupported or they feel like what their contributions are not being celebrated, are not being really, really looked at as far as them putting it in. So a lot of times we don't put out if we don't feel like what we put in is going to be accepted. That's a real thing. And unless you actually think about it and you make it intentional, those are things that can slip by you as leaders. And remember, I tell you, I am a leader. Everyone is a leader or has leadership abilities in them. Repeat after me and say it in the chat. Say it to yourself. I am a leader. Because you are. Because you are. You are in every sense of the word. I was telling someone not too long ago, everyone's not lead. Well, that's true, but they have the ability to lead in those particular areas that they feel proficient in. It's just they don't have the same charge as you. They don't have the same purpose as me, or you in that regards. So, but we got to give them the benefit of the doubt. Otherwise, you're downing them. Otherwise, you're insulting them. And we don't ever want to leave from that perspective, even if it's not intentional. A lot of times it's the impact, not necessarily the intention of those thoughts, because they project in how we treat those particular people as well. So you got to treat everyone as a leader, even if they're not displaying their leadership ability, right? And to push that forward, support, it doesn't remove the expectations. It gives you strength so that you can meet them, so that you can meet them consistently, right? So I'm giving you the support. I'm giving you these feedback loops, these feedback cycles, and whatever it is that we're doing so that we can build up the consistency and the rapport so that you can trust and believe in the process, right? When people feel like they are seen, they're heard, that they're supported, that they're valued, that commitment goes up and retention stops being a problem. You start keeping great people. You start loading up the bench because now supporting people becomes how you attract people. That's becomes also how you retain them. Let's go, you all. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. We're excited today. And we in part 2 Let me put the banner up. I don't think I put the banner up going across the bottom of the screen. 20 ways that you can support, attract, and retain impactful. And remember, we're talking about impactful educators, right? That's the thing of the game. That's the name of the game. Getting those people on your team that you know you can count on, that you can depend on, they're going to show up, and that's going to work it. Work it. Definitely appreciate it. I am a leader. I see y'all in the chat. Definitely appreciate it. Appreciate it. Miss Kim Barnett coaching there as well. Definitely appreciate you. I am a leader. Yes, you are every single day, every single time. Right? Even when we're being led, there are spaces where you can apply your leadership ability. That's powerful. And just knowing that, even when I'm following, I have the ability to contribute. That automatically makes me a leader. Wow, that's good stuff. You also, we're on 20 ways. We did 7 last week. And if you want me to go back through those 7, somebody put it in the chat before we get finished. And I will make sure that I go back through those first 7. Otherwise, I'm gonna get you to go back and watch the video, right? It's posted to YouTube. It's still in the Facebook feed right now. Also, they stay in Facebook, I think, for 30 days. YouTube is forever. So either way, you definitely want to get it because we have been cooking. We have been cooking, you all. We know we're giving out good information. We know that we are helping where we can. And that's the thing. If you know that every little bit helps, you're going to be right here too. You're going to be right here because you can't get enough. You can't get enough information. And if you feel what I'm saying, definitely put it in the chat also, you all. So we're going to start off, and I bridge you in with the 7 because I really feel like it's crucial to all of these. Be you. That was the 7th way that you can support, attract, retain impactful educators. Just being yourself, being authentic, knowing that this is who you are and who you're going to be, right? Because a lot of times you get these particular leaders and people that are wishy-washy, that are flip-flop, that are changey-wangey, however you want to say it. They're not consistent with who they are as a person, as a leader, as an educator. They don't see the benefit of being the same, I suppose. You think that's what it is? Y'all put it in the chat. Why you think that we got leaders who refuse to be themselves sometimes? That they just afraid to step out on a limb and they settle for being compliant versus being the initiator or being the leader that they were probably born to do. Because I'm a big proponent that the Lord not going to put you in positions that you were not supposed to be in. Right? It's just most of the time it's not going to happen. Now it's on us to make sure we make the 100% out of it, that we give that 110% even. But we in those positions, you get these jobs, you get these positions, and then it's time to do it. And after you've done it time and time again, you understand, hey, this is the process. And you don't flip it out. So here we go. Number 8, the 8th way. Help people see beyond this year. Wow. It's simple as that. And I'm going to take it a step further because I say you should be looking 2-3 years down the road. I say you should be training, where you're building a machine where it does not matter, first off, who comes into the building, even if they're not with the staff. And secondly, it doesn't matter which teacher you plug in because we've all getting this information. Of course, you're going to naturally have some that are better, but with training, with consistency, you can still build up those others where they're proficient in their own way. They're not going to be, Miss Wilson's not going to be proficient like Miss Johnson. Miss Johnson not going to be proficient like Miss Wilson, but Miss Johnson will be proficient as Miss Johnson can be. And Miss Wilson will be as proficient as Mrs. Wilson can be. Same thing with Mr. Taylor. He's going to be proficient as he can be on his scale. So we got to build them up. I always talk about talking to the potential and not the person. Yeah, that's one of the key principles in the DIP approach. Talk to the potential at all times, even in correction, even when I have to hold you accountable, or when the expectations haven't been met, or when the expectations have been met, because we don't flip-flop. We don't be changey-wangey, right? We're the same, and we're going to keep pushing out that good information, and we're going to continue to talk to the potential and not necessarily the person, because I need you to be that greater version of you. I love the one you are, but I need you to be pumped up, excited about the growth process and doing it for yourself, doing it for your students. You got to help them see beyond where they currently are, right? I understand the impact on my students' lives. I understand the impact of on my students' lives, the future of my students. That is powerful when you realize that you show up and you show out every single day. You're consistent, because now you're taking it beyond yourself. Now it's for humanity's sake. Now it's for history's sake. It's for the trajectory of the students' lives that you're serving. It's so that the teachers that you're serving can continue to project upward. Same thing with your leaders. You want them to continue to grow. You don't grow in comfortability. You grow with supports. You grow with being pushed past your current state, past what you're able to do, right? So that's the growth part. If I'm trying to do more, I can't grow if I'm only doing the same. And you have to be able to think about that when we're in these different positions. Great afternoon, Sister Valerie Mason. Definitely appreciate you coming out today as well. Nice to hear from you, Sister Lashana Sade. Lack of emotional and intellectual intelligence. Woo-wee. Coach Dr. Makita, she trying. I am a leader that develops others as leaders. Wow. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. So we're going to keep it going, y'all, because I appreciate the participation. Here we go. Number 9, ninth way, y'all. Hope you've been taking these notes, because we try to bring it. Those first 7, like I told you, they were tight as well, and so we're going to keep coming. Protect teacher agency while giving them the direction that they need. So I want you to be innovative. I want you to try all these high yield instructional practices that you hear me talk about all the time. You hear me talk about stations, reciprocal teaching. You may have been on my social media and seen me modeling those particular teaching strategies in classroom, or either coaching a teacher to do those things as well. Or maybe you saw me in a professional development talking about some of those things, right? But the thing is, you got to continue to give them the direction, but don't be mad when reciprocal teaching doesn't go as planned the first time. See, this is the other side of it. Here's that cultural piece. Here's that personal piece, that personal touch piece also that you must have as a leader of other leaders, as Coach just said, right? And you think about that. No direction, you got total chaos. You got total chaos with no direction. So you got to keep the direction in place. You got to be able to make sure that you're not controlling them, because too much control, you're going to burn them out. But you also know the direction that we're headed, and we're guiding. We're following along until we get there. It's a team thing. You can't do it in isolation. That was one of the big points in our PD on yesterday. You can't do it alone. You can't do it alone, y'all. You look at this bald head. I know you can't do it alone. I know you can't, because that comes from trying to do it alone. When I was a young principal, my first few years, I tried to do it alone. And I quickly reverted back to my skills that I had learned as a basketball player, as a teammate, right? Because you get those principalships and you first started in leadership, you're like, all this falls on me. I'm going to have to do this and do that. And you do. But there's a better way to enlist help, support. And when you do those things, that's going to help you attract different people and to be able to retain those valuable people. See, good people they must be treated good, or else they'll go somewhere else. So you got to make sure it's a strategy, right? And you got to be genuine in that strategy. All right, 10th thing, you all. We going through about 13 today. Develop leaders before you need them. If y'all like what I'm saying, definitely put it in the chat. You got comments, definitely put it in the chat. I want to hear from you, right? Develop leaders before you need them. You got to have the bench ready. I can't be sitting up crying and worried about Mrs. Bailey leaving the 10th grade class because I hadn't trained another 10th grade teacher alongside of her. Yeah, let that sink in. Let that sink in, because I'm training all of the teachers so that when one leaves, we got a bench ready to step up. That's leadership, that's sustainability, and that's intentional. Why would we put all our eggs in one basket, even if we got this great teacher who is not in this particular class right now, or she's a poor teacher who's not in this particular class, and I've got the class covered, but I know that if she leaves, what I'm gonna do next? That's the purpose of making sure all your teachers are trained. That's the purpose of ensuring that everyone gets quality professional development and support so that they can work toward implementing those strategies that you discuss, those strategies that you push forward. It is a system. It's systematic. We talk about systemic collaboration going all the way around the entire organization. That's powerful, you all. See, when growth stalls, that's when they leaving. Yeah. Intentional pause. When the growth stalls, they're leaving. They're getting out your way. They're going where they can grow it, where they can have professional development, where they can be who they need to be, where they can be innovative, where they can try new things, where they can continue to grow, in other words. When the growth stalls, the people leave. The scores go down. The morale, the culture shift, and usually in a negative way, not in a good way. So we got to be constantly aware, because again, as leaders, it's easy to take your feet off the gas, not provide that extra professional development. Feel like, oh, we've already professional development, I've already trained. But come on, Prince, you hadn't revisited it since August. You used those 2 days of training during your week, and you only use 2-3 hours of that particular day at a meeting because the teachers have to have time in their rooms. And now you're expecting them to do it all year long with no follow-up, no feedback, no extra training. And we talked about it once. And we know that research says that you got to hear something, see something 7 to 8 times before you can own it for yourself. So this is your reminder. This is your reminder, because most of you got about 60 days, anywhere from 40 to 60 days before tests. They start coming in mid-March, late March and April. Both of my schools, they're going to be tested by the mid-April. They'll be done. So my major schools, they'll be done by mid-April. So that tells you that you should be revisiting your processes more and more. Development equals retention. Say boom. Development equals retention. Yeah. They're not going to go nowhere if I'm constantly growing, because I realize I may not get that over there. I'm talking with the teachers over there. They're not growing over there either. So I'm going to go and stay where the growth is at, where we have a team mentality at, where we're working constantly at being the best we can be at, and it's not in isolation. That's the difference. Teacher, principal, administrator collaboration, right? And let me break up just for a second, you. I'm gonna show y'all a video and while we're talking about it from this professional development on yesterday. Here it goes, y'all.
You said what? And so, student-centric energy will enable you to remain optimistic about improving your school situation regardless of the factors against you. And so I also try to come in with whatever I do, if I can just put my students first and help them read a little better and be a little better, then I've done well that day. So just putting those students first. I mean, even if the building is crumbling down, if you are a teacher, it's something you probably would do without money. So if I'm sitting out in the field and I have a book in my hand and I can teach them, then I've done my job. So those are some things
Definitely. It's basically about knowing the vision, regardless whether it's of the school, because your personal vision in your classroom should align with the mission and vision of the school, and we should all be working collaboratively in an effort to accomplish that vision. Everything we do should be aligned and funneled through that vision. And just real quickly, one key point that I found in the book was, it says, ignite a spirit of togetherness, teamwork, accountability, and energy to cultivate a culture of collaboration between teachers and administrators, and increased cooperation leads to increased student achievement and increased teacher capacity.
Whoa.
That was important to me.
Definitely.
So basically, to sum everything up, in order to get to that vision, you have to have collaboration and a sharing of perspectives between the principal, the administrators, and the teachers. And together, that's what leads to student success.
Love it, love it, love it. Yeah. So that's what you want to project to your teachers. You, in that particular exercise, we chunk read portions of Empowering Educational Communities, a guide for teacher principal collaboration, which is my book that's highly endorsed by brother Principal Baruta Kafela, as well as Dr. Pedro Noguera. So in that particular video, we were chunk reading, and those were some of the key points that they pulled out during the PD. When you are able to get your team moving toward working together, because it's a constant process, it doesn't happen overnight. That's something that you want to make sure that you're focused on and you're intentional about. All right, you are the 11th way. Honor expertise without forcing titles. Woo! You say, what you mean? What you mean, Dr. Joe? You there you go with some of your talk. That's right. Honor expertise without forcing title. Everyone doesn't want to be the principal, right? Just because I am a leader, like we talk about all the time, that doesn't mean that they're the principal or that they even have the desire to be an administrator. So we got to know that we can take leadership expertise from those who aren't or who don't have the title. Also, just giving that recognition, that's going to fuel some longevity in itself. We're talking about supporting impactful educators, teachers, and leaders. So valuing their voice, honoring their expertise. That's powerful, y'all. And you got to be secure with what you bring to the table to honor others' voices. You can't shut down. You don't want to shut down people and decrease the power of your team. You don't want to shut down people and decrease the power of your team. You want to uplift people and increase the empowerment of your team. Man, y'all should have wrote that. Write that down, pup. You don't want to do it. You want to increase the empowerment. You don't want to do it any other way. You want to uplift them, encourage them so that they can be the leaders who they need to be as well. Because I need you leading even when I'm not around. That's the expectation, that you're a leader even when the leader isn't around. That's how you ensure your school is going strong, moving in the right direction. All of that matters. 12th reason, you all. We rolling good today. 12th reason, encourage risk-taking without punishing failure. I may have alluded to this one earlier because it was a hot topic in my mind anyway. I want you to use stations. And just from me being able to do stations and trying to transfer that knowledge to someone else, I know that stations is a skill. Being able to implement stations, that's not your sit and get material where we reading off the worksheet or reading from the textbook. That's going to take me practicing it. So the first time or two may not be top level. First 3 or 4 times may not be top level. But here's that encouragement piece where I can see it grow every time. I can see it get better each time I implement it. When I can see the light bulbs in the student's head go off more and more each time that we're able to implement it. When I'm able to look at the data and see that the growth in the data has moved upward since we started implementing these high yielding instructional practice, not just instructional practice. We're talking about high yields. We're talking about dip methodology. We're talking about those things that are cooperative and collaborative from every phase, from beginning to end. That's what makes the strategies powerful. That's what makes them be what we can actually use. That's what allows the teacher to return to it over and over again, because you've allowed them to build up the reps. They've had the reps. So know that doesn't happen when you lead with fear. It's 3 ways to increase motivation. Three ways to push people to the next level, right? Fear, growth, motivation. And fear-based leadership, it don't work anymore. They don't want your job. They can go do hair on the side. they can go take photos for their cousin wedding on the side and make sometimes what we make as educators. It's not in it for that. They're not in it for that. They're in it for the opportunity to grow. They saw it as a chance to be developed. That's why they came in with you. So know that innovation dies in fear. I'm scared. I'm scared for my life. I'm scared for my career. I've got to be compliant. I've got to meet what you say, and I can't mess up. That's the mentality. That's the mentality when you're leading with fear. Fear, motivation, incentives, right? That's the other one. Incentives, of course, they always help motivate, because we always, want something in return sometimes, especially when you're an educator and you want to know why I've got to do this. What does it benefit me? So an incentive sometimes will push those people ahead to those next levels so they can do it for themselves. And then, of course, growth. That's the third way, and that's crucial. When you're providing growth, when you allow them to interact, to read, write, think, discuss, create, and I add another, view techniques, even in your professional learning environments. Create, read, write, think, view techniques, because sometimes we throw those clips in there, right? Yeah. We cooking today, y'all. I want to send you into the stretch run empowered to not only keep all the teachers that you have, bring in the ones that you need, but then score on your test. You're flying high then. That's what you want to do. That's what you do. Yes, indeed. Appreciate you, Coach. True leadership demonstrated when you are not in the building. Say that. Say boom. Yes, indeed. Say boom. And the last thing, and before we get to the last one for today, growth can only happen when it's uncomfortable. And here's the other side of that. You got to have permission to try to grow when you're in an organization. You say, Joe, there you go again, talking in these codes, these analogies, these leadership words, right? But growth requires uncomfortability. On top of that, on top of it being uncomfortable, you got to have permission to grow. You say, what you mean? Well, as a teacher, if I'm trying to grow, if I'm trying to expand my instructional practice, my principal got to give me permission to fail. My principal got to give me permission to think outside the box and to implement outside of the box. This is a different level, you all. See, we going past the surface level. Growth requires permission to try, especially in different environments. You're going to try it anyway as a teacher, but you don't want to shut that down as the leader. Remember, I'm the leader, teacher, leader, collaboration person. I'm always thinking in the lines of keeping those two links together. When you keep those two links together, you can't break it. You can't break it. That's how you're going to make sure you continue to have success and push forward. And the last thing for today, you got to make collaboration purposeful. Brother Principal Griffin, greetings, my brother. Let's go. Appreciate you joining. Definitely appreciate you joining. We cooking today, Brother Griffin. We are definitely cooking today. And the last thing, 13, you all. 13, I told you I was going to make it into 3. You got to make collaboration purposeful. It's got to be a purpose in what we're doing. See, real collaboration, that's going to solve the problem. But that old fake collaboration where we just trying to check off a box, what that's going to do? That's going to drain everybody's energy. That's going to make us tired. I was tired, boss. That's what they're going to say. I'm tired, right? That's what they're going to say. And you don't want that. You want them uplifted. How do you keep them uplifted? First off, you remain uplifted. Make collaboration purposeful. Put people in position where they are sometimes leading the collaboration as well. Now you got contributors, not just people who are members or just participants. They're contributing to the growth of the school. That's a different level towards your leadership. Now I'm teaching ownership. Now I'm promoting ownership. Powerful, you all. That's powerful, you all. So I am with those 13. Now you got 13. I asked anybody want to hit those 1 through 7. Nobody put that in the chat. Let me check the chat one more time to make sure if they want to hit those 7. I won't go through all of them. I will just list those. Seriously, we won't talk about the points. But okay, very good with that. So otherwise, you all, we're going to keep pushing. Again, it was a great week. I want to shout out my principals and my superintendents one more time. Won a big RFP with the second largest district in the state of Mississippi. So I'll be going back doing a lot of work there in the summer and the fall. And you all, it's just a matter of keeping the grind up. Like, you can't let up. No one should be able to tell you what you're capable of when you already know your value, your work, you know the amount of work, time, preparation that you put into what you do. And then you look at your particular statistics, your data, and they're telling you, hey, keep going. Keep going. Don't stop. You got people who are depending on you, who are listening to what you say, who are being empowered and inspired by the information that you are consistently feeding them. Y'all, that takes your purpose and your intentionality to another level. Y'all know I talk from the lens of Jim, although I'm Joe. It's about that journey. It's about the intentionality, and it's about that mindset. Yeah, all the time, every single day. That's the way we have to live, you all. We got to keep pushing, you all. And as we get ready to come to the close, repeat the 1 through 7. Okay, coach. Okay, coach. I'm gonna repeat them. I'm gonna repeat those for you. Yes, indeed. Appreciate it. And those 7. The first one was stay connected to people that's doing the work. Stay connected to the people that's doing the work. Number 2, it was listen to expertise, not just position. That was powerful. Address the issues. Number 3, address issues versus dodging issues. In discipline culture, discipline dash culture, that's the power of collaboration. We're working through all of the issues, the adult to adult issues, the student to adult issues, and the student to student issues. We're working through those head on. We're not dodging them. Number 4, address issue. Number 4, make feedback normal, not traumatic. We're going to let that one sink in for you, because some of y'all providing that feedback that's traumatic to people, that's hurting them. That's instead of pushing them forward, you're hurting them. To provide feedback that promotes the people. Give them feedback that's going to push them forward, not that's going to kill them, not that's going to cause them trauma. We talk about trauma-informed instruction. Here's what I'm doing. Let me write this. Trauma-informed professional development. Trauma-informed coaching. How about that? We cooking. Trauma-informed coaching, you all. That's powerful. And the 5th thing, coach with positivity, even during accountability. Yeah. Coach with positivity, even during accountability. Bring it back to the light. The doctor's gonna always be there. We already gonna know the negative. We already see the weakness. We already see what's going on, but the expectation, we talking to the potential, not the person. So we coach with positivity. Say boom. Build adult to adult trust intentionally was number 6. That adult to adult trust. That's powerful. We got to know that we can count on each other in this work every single day, every single way. And the 7th, coach, and I led with it again today because it connects. I think I'm going to probably add it next week too, because through it all, you got to be you. You can't be no one else. Principal Kafela, I love my brother, but I can't be him. I got to be Joe Griffin, right? Every single day, every single way. You got to be yourself. Tanya Jones, she can't be Shirley Ross. Shirley Ross, she can't be Karen Bailey. No. You got to be yourself. You got to be comfortable in who you are and put the work in on you. Just like we try to work on those that work with us or for us, we still got to continue to work on us too, through it all. Because remember, mentalities fluctuate. Yeah, it fluctuates. So we have to check. We have to check ourselves. That way, when you check me, I already know what you're talking about. But if I never truly evaluate me, I can't accept that constructive criticism that my superintendent, that my principal, that my teacher gave to me. Yeah. So that's 1 through 13. You all, that's 1 through 13. We're doing 20 ways to support, attract, and retain impactful teachers and leaders. We need them both. We need them both, you all. We need them both. So with that, you all, I definitely want to, as always, encourage you to live, learn, and lead with your heart. Lead with your heart. Continue to search for wisdom so that you can find your true purpose. It doesn't come without us searching for that wisdom. It's already inside of us, true enough. But we also have to work towards allowing it to come out. And the last thing, continue to be courageous so that you can drown out all fear and be who you need to be. Peace, much love. Let's go. No problem, coach. No problem, coach. Much love. Thank you so much. Y'all have the best day and rest of your weekend.